As you all know, District Court Judge Scott Freeman allowed Charles Chinichi, a non-attorney, to represent a corporation. I filed a notice of appeal, and the Supreme Court of Nevada said,
"No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!"
Let's find out where he went wrong. The Mad Hatter here with part 19 of the My Docket series on Corazon real estate. First of all, happy Halloween, everyone. Second of all, my mindset. Elated. This is going to be a great video because this is my first Supreme Court victory, if I remember correctly. It's either the first or the second. You know, somebody goes back, they can check the timing on this order, and they can find out whether it's the first or the second. But my suspicion is that this is the first, because the second one was done by the Court of Appeals, and the Court of Appeals was not created until later. So I do believe that this is the first time I've ever won an appeal. Now, if you've watched My Docket series on high conflict child custody, you would notice I've already gone over 3 appeals, and that's because the high conflict child custody series spans over the course of 8 years. Whereas this case was running at the same time as my high conflict child custody case, I set it all aside until later under its separate category. It's just the Corazon Real Estate, My Docket series. So yeah, this is the first Supreme Court victory. There's nothing like your first Supreme Court victory when you're not an attorney. It's words cannot describe what it feels like, because you realize judge was wrong, called him out, and I won. I was right. He was wrong. I was right. That's a really weird feeling for a person who's never gone to law school, who's never had legal training. For just a regular person with no training at all to say something about the law, and the judge to say, no, you're wrong, and dismiss it. And then for the Supreme Court to say, actually, no, that random guy in college was right. It's a big deal. So anyway, elated when I got this. It kind of made me have confidence in the Supreme Court of Nevada. It's what led to all the other appeals being, considered, because I know I lost a few appeals, and this is one of the things that I needed for me to see. You're not going to lose them all. You're going to win some of them. In any event, I think that this is going to be one of those videos where the best thing we can do is go straight into the Supreme Court's order. Here we have the Supreme Court's order of reversal and remand. This is a proper person appeal from District Court order granting a motion to dismiss, entered by District Court Judge Scott Freeman. He's now the Chief Judge of the 2nd Judicial District Court. Next paragraph, we have that appellant filed a complaint against a corporation in District Court, Charles Chinichi, who is not a licensed Nevada attorney. Thereafter filed an answer and counterclaim on behalf of respondent, indicating that respondent was proceeding in proper person. The appellant, me, filed a motion to require him to obtain counsel, arguing that a corporation may not appear in proper person and that non-lawyers may not represent corporations. Mr. Chinichi filed an opposition to the motion, arguing only that the case was frivolous and should be heard in small claims court, and filed a motion to dismiss based on the same arguments. I oppose the motion to dismiss, and I filed a motion to amend the complaint and request for arbitration, both of which Mr. Chinichi opposed. The District Court thereafter granted respondents' motion to dismiss on the basis that I had provided no evidence of damages. My appeal followed. A corporation may not appear in proper person and must be represented by a licensed Nevada attorney. Non-lawyers may not represent entities in court. No statute or rule permits a non-lawyer to represent an entity. An entity cannot proceed in proper person. As we do not allow laypersons to represent parties or entities, and business entities are not permitted to appear or file documents in proper person, respondent's answer and all other motions and documents filed in the District Court by respondent were improper and should have been stricken by the District Court. Charles Chinichi's motion to dismiss was therefore also improperly considered by the District Court, and the District Court erred in considering and granting the motion. Accordingly, the judgment of the District Court is reversed. They remand the matter back to the District Court for proceedings consistent with their order. Notice of entry of order. Okay, so what I'm doing here is unnecessary. The notice of entry of order is something that's required by the rules of civil procedure, and it triggers the deadline for filing an appeal. We're obviously in the appellate court already. There's no mention in the rules of appellate procedure of having to file a notice of entry of order. The Supreme Court's already mailed that order to everybody. I didn't have to do this. This is a common thing that I think even attorneys get confused about. If you want to learn more about this, please watch my video on the topic notice of entry of order. 5, certificate of service indicating this document was mailed to Charles Shinichi. List of exhibits, which is the order reversing and remanding, which we just went over. And standard policy of the My Docket series is to not go over documents multiple times. The remitter. The remitter is like the receipt. It goes back to the district court and it tells the district court, hey, we're done up here. We don't need, this case is closed. We're done. You can have jurisdiction back. I think I talk about the remitter in the video, jurisdiction divested on appeal. Please watch that video. It's important. Certificate, or clerk certificate, and this is the clerk of the Supreme Court entering judgment against Charles Shinichi, I think. Well, yeah, I mean, I guess it counts as a judge. Yeah, this is a judgment. Okay, I was just curious. I didn't know if appellate courts enter judgments or not. Apparently they do. Order. This is an order from the Supreme Court of Nevada. They ordered the judgment of the district court reversed. They issued the remitter. I did file a timely memorandum of costs, but due to an oversight, it was not docketed. The memorandum of costs is unopposed. Cause appearing, the costs are taxed against the respondent under Rule 39 sub A3. So the Supreme Court is ordering Charles Shinichi's corporation to pay me $9.72 in costs. Memorandum of costs. So here's the memorandum that I filed with all of the costs listed. If you want to learn more about this, please watch my video on the topic attorneys' fees and costs. And then we've got the verification, and then we've got the Rule 5 certificate of service indicating this was sent to Charles Shinichi. And then we got the memorandum of costs and disbursements from the Supreme Court clerk, it looks like. The assistant clerk, okay. And I guess she's just approving the costs that I'm requesting. Going into the aftermath, I filed two documents. They were free filings, so I incurred $0 in costs. Charles Shinichi didn't file anything, so he incurred $0 in costs. I didn't have an attorney, so I incurred $0 in attorney fees. Charles Shinichi didn't have an attorney, but he is eventually forced to get an attorney. They will, for sure, look over these very, very, very briefly, I imagine. And I imagine that 15 minutes of their time is probably all they put into it. And that's going to come to, at the rate of $250 an hour, $62.50 in attorney fees for Charles Shinichi.